Hello everyone, wishing you all good health and peace in life. Life has a mysterious way of bringing people back together, sometimes as a gift of fate, sometimes as if fate itself is playing a bittersweet joke. For Dee and Huyen, the day they crossed paths with Adam again was one filled with tears, not of sorrow, but of overwhelming emotion. In that unexpected moment, memories of sacrifice, kindness, and silent companionship flooded back. Adam, who once stood by them in their darkest days, appeared before their eyes like a long-lost brother. Was it destiny guiding their steps, or just life's strange twist? Whatever it was, Dee and Huyen knew in their hearts that this meeting was no coincidence. It was a reminder that bonds born of love and sacrifice are never truly broken. Life in the quiet village had begun to settle into a gentle rhythm for Dee, Huyen, and little Maya. Their days were filled with simple joys: tending the garden, cooking meals together, and watching Maya skip off to school with her books pressed close to her chest. For once, peace seemed within reach. But fate has a way of weaving surprises into the lives of those who least expect it. One misty afternoon, as Huyen was returning from the market with a basket of vegetables, she froze in her steps. Across the crowded street, she saw a familiar figure: broad shoulders, kind eyes, and a face that carried the weight of countless untold stories. "Adam," she whispered, her heart pounding. At that very moment, Dee was repairing the garden fence when he heard Huyen's trembling voice. He looked up, confused, then followed her gaze. His tools slipped from his hand, falling silently into the grass. For years, Adam had been more than a friend. He was a brother in heart, a companion through hardship. Yet he had vanished from their lives like a shadow swallowed by the night. Now, as if fate itself had played a cruel trick or offered a merciful gift, Adam was standing only a few steps away. Huyen's eyes filled with tears. She clutched the basket so tightly that the fresh vegetables spilled onto the dirt road. Dee's throat tightened, and he could barely find his voice. "Adam, is it really you?" Adam turned, his eyes widening as recognition spread across his tired face. For a moment, the world around them seemed to blur. The market noise, the footsteps, even the wind all faded, leaving only the three of them in that fragile instant. "Dee, Huyen," Adam's voice broke. He took a step forward, his hands trembling, as though afraid this was nothing more than a dream. Tears streamed down Huyen's cheeks. She remembered the long nights when Adam had carried food to them, the quiet encouragement he had given when she had nearly lost hope, the way he had believed in their future even when they could not. And he remembered Adam's loyalty, the bond they had forged through sweat, hunger, and silence shared under the same broken roof. The three of them stood there, unable to hold back their emotions. Passers-by glanced curiously, but none dared interrupt the reunion that seemed destined by something greater than chance. Huyen whispered shakily, "Is this fate bringing us back together? Or fate's cruel joke, reminding us of all we've lost?" Dee placed his hand firmly on Adam's shoulder, his voice steady though his eyes glistened. "It doesn't matter what fate calls it. What matters is you're here, with us." Adam nodded, overwhelmed. For the first time in years, the three of them stood together again, tears mingling with quiet smiles, as if the universe itself had chosen this moment to give them back a piece of what had been taken. And though uncertainty still loomed ahead, in that moment there was no fear, only the fragile but powerful hope that perhaps fate, after all its storms, had finally decided to be kind. The walk back to their home felt like a dream. Adam carried half of Huyen's basket, though his hands trembled as if he was still not sure whether all this was real. Dee walked silently beside him, his heart heavy yet strangely light, while Huyen kept stealing glances at Adam, afraid he might vanish again if she looked away for too long. When they reached the little bamboo house, Maya was waiting on the step, humming a song while feeding scraps of rice to Baby, the loyal dog. She looked up with wide eyes when she saw the unfamiliar man walking beside her parents. "Mother, who is he?" Maya asked softly, tilting her head. Huyen knelt down, her hands still shaking. She brushed Maya's hair from her forehead and whispered, her voice breaking, "This is Uncle Adam. He is family. He helped us long ago. More than you could ever know." Adam crouched carefully, lowering himself to Maya's level. His eyes softened as he took in her innocent face. "So this is the little girl I heard so much about," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "You've grown so beautifully, Maya." Maya looked at him, uncertain at first, then smiled shyly and reached out her small hand. Adam clasped it gently, and in that simple touch, years of distance and longing seemed to dissolve. Inside the house, Dee lit the small oil lamp, its warm glow filling the modest kitchen. The three adults sat together at the low wooden table while Maya helped set out the bowls. It felt almost like the first day of their new life was beginning all over again, but this time with Adam back among them. The silence at first was heavy, thick with unsaid words. Finally, Adam spoke, his voice low. "I searched for you for so long. I thought I lost you forever. To see you here, safe, with Maya." He stopped, unable to continue, tears glistening in his eyes. Huyen reached for his hand. "We thought we lost you too. Every day, we prayed for the people who once helped us. For you." Dee's hand rested firmly on the table. His voice was steady but filled with unspoken gratitude. "You never left my heart, Adam. Not once. Whatever we have now, part of it is because of you." For a moment, none of them spoke. The only sound was the soft crackling of the fire under the clay stove. Maya, sensing the weight of the moment, leaned against Adam's arm with childlike trust. Adam closed his eyes, fighting the tears. He whispered, almost to himself, "Maybe fate was cruel, but maybe it has finally chosen mercy to give us this moment." That night, under the dim light of the oil lamp, they shared a simple meal of rice and vegetables. Yet to all of them, it felt richer than any feast, because for the first time in years, the circle of their bond was whole again. The next morning, the village awoke to the sound of roosters and the soft rustle of leaves in the breeze. But inside Dee and Huyen's small house, there was a different kind of sound laughter. For the first time in a long time, it was not just the laughter of Maya, but also Adam's deep, warm chuckle blending with it. Maya had insisted on showing her new Uncle Adam the guava tree behind the house. She tugged at his hand, pulling him out into the early sunlight. "Come, this tree gives the sweetest fruit," she said proudly, climbing halfway up to pick one. Adam caught her as she nearly slipped, And for a moment his face softened into something D, and Huyen had not seen in years a look of peace. Huyen stood at the doorway, watching them. She felt her heart swell with gratitude, but also ache with memories. Fate had stolen so much from them, yet here it was giving back a piece she thought was gone forever. D came to stand beside her, wiping his hands on a rag after tending to the garden. His voice was low, almost thoughtful. It feels like a dream, seeing him here again. I don't know if fate is playing with us, or if this is truly a blessing. Huyen nodded, her eyes never leaving Adam and Maya. Whatever it is, we must cherish it. Life doesn't often give second chances. When they gathered for breakfast, Adam finally spoke of his long years away. He told them about wandering from place to place, working wherever he could, always searching for news of them. His voice trembled when he described the nights he thought he might never find them again. D listened quietly, his hands clasped tightly together. He understood perhaps better than anyone the loneliness of that search, the silent pain of holding onto hope when everything seemed lost. At last, Adam looked up, his gaze firm. If you'll allow me, I want to stay. Not just for a day or two. I want to help you build this life. I want to see Maya grow up. I don't want to disappear again. The room fell silent. Huyen's eyes filled with tears. D reached across the table, placing his rough hand over Adam's. You were with us even when you were far away, D said. Now, if you truly wish to stay, then this is your home too. Maya clapped her hands in delight, her voice ringing like a small bell. Yes, Uncle Adam will live with us. Then we will never be lonely again. In that moment, something shifted. What once felt like fate's cruel joke began to look like fate's gift. The home that D and Huyen had built with fragile hope was no longer just for two adults and a child. It had become a shelter of love, reunion, and second chances. Outside, the morning sun spread across the fields, painting everything golden. And inside their humble house, for hearts bound by pain, hope, and love began to dream of a future together. This story teaches us a profound truth. Life is unpredictable, but love and loyalty always find their way back. Fate may separate people, scatter them across years and miles, and test them with loneliness and pain. Yet, when the bond of the heart is genuine, time cannot break it. D. Huyen and Adam remind us that true friendship and love do not disappear even when distance and hardship come between. Their reunion shows that second chances are possible, and that sometimes life returns to us what we thought was lost forever. We also learn that happiness does not come from wealth or luxury, but from sharing simple meals, laughter, and trust with the people who truly care for us. A humble home becomes rich when it is filled with love and forgiveness. Most importantly, the story tells us to never give up hope, even when fate seems cruel. Even when the path feels endless, we must keep believing, because one day, just as it happened for D. Huyen and Adam, life may surprise us with the gift of reunion and peace.